Assalamu alaikum, viewers. Welcome to Pakistan Facts. We are here once again with another edition, with another interesting interview. And it gives me great pleasure to be presenting this amazing initiative to all of our viewers today. So, how often do you hear stories of campaigns which are making a difference on grassroots levels? And how rare is it to see the efforts arising with women empowerment in focus? But that is exactly what is happening here. We are talking about Saving Nine. It is an amazing initiative, and I would not be doing the whole explanation myself because I have the founder with us, Mr. Usama Javed Mirza Saab, and he will be sharing with our readers, with our viewers, all the details about this amazing initiative. Hello, sir. How are you, Mr. Usama?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Sama Saab, thank you so much for being here with us. It gives us great pleasure to be talking to people like you who are making such a difference and who are actually hitting, two birds with a single stone, I would say, because you're also focusing upon women empowerment. So if you could just kindly give us an overview about Saving Nine, and we'll just continue from there on.
Absolutely. Thank you for your very kind words. Saving Nine is all about teaching people how to save lives. So the story kind of goes that back when I was at LUMS for my undergrad, they had this student-run emergency medical services department. So this department, which was run by students, was responsible for dealing with emergencies on campus. So though I was studying physics, I was allowed to undertake their 2.5-month course, which gives you the same kind of training that Rescue 1122 ambulance staff members have. And then after that, I was made responsible for working with the team to deal with emergencies on campus. And that experience absolutely changed my life. It transformed me. I had never felt anything so meaningful as working with a group of people to help save someone's life. And you would think that, okay, it's a university campus, kya kisam ki emergencies hongi? Everything under the sun can happen everywhere and does happen everywhere. Often we are inside our houses or inside our rooms, and we don't appreciate that around us emergencies are happening all the time. And, we just don't have access to that knowledge because these things will get confidential. And so, over my 2.5 years of service at LUMS, there were over 250 emergencies I personally had to deal with, which includes everything from fractures to psychological emergencies to burns to poisoning to everything, you name it. Everything under the sun happened in that campus, and it's like that everywhere. So that experience absolutely changed my life. And in my last year at LUMS, I became head of training of that department. And, from that, I made some really, really powerful bonds with the people I trained and with my team members. And that is what led me to launch Saving Nine after coming back from my master's in the US. It was basically Saving Nine ka yahi maqsad hai, to teach people how to save lives. We began inside my sister's room. I started inviting my friends over, started inviting colleagues over, ke aao first aid seekho. So then I would teach people first aid in my sister's house. And then one thing led to another. And then, I was able to rigorously train people as first responders. And from that, we turned into a proper incorporated social enterprise. And, then we worked on launching ambulances. And we launched Pakistan's only women-led and run ambulance, which is operating in Bharakahu now, close to Bharakahu, in a region called Pind Bagwal. And this is the same region, which has also produced people with views like, it's like a very patriarchal sort of religious conservative setup. And within that kind of region, we were able to set up a women-led ambulance where, housewives were given employment, have now dealt with countless emergencies, including many pregnancy-related emergencies, and they have driver's licenses.
Right.
So this is how we've kind of, grown as a social enterprise, and we have discovered that anyone can learn how to save a life, and that people are a lot more receptive to social change than we think they will be. Only you have to build trust with them.
Right.
And you have to listen.
Fantastic work being done, Mr. Usama. But I need to know, you must have definitely faced some setbacks considering how, you're training your staff to be able to take on these very hard tasks, providing these emergency medical services. And then you're doing it on basis of this female gender. I mean, because, in Pakistan, we still have that conventional framework where we're supposed to be doing certain kind of work. And if we do actually go out of that zone, it just becomes
Mhm.
extreme. There's complete chaos. So I just wanted to know the
Mhm.
kind of support that were you able to get, and any setbacks you were facing while you were trying creating this kind of a setup.
If we're talking about the female-led ambulance in particular first, yes, there were quite a few challenges. The first of which was, convincing people locally that this is something that should be done. You had to not call it a female-led and run ambulance. If you called it that, people will get triggered.
Right.
So instead, you had to really, control the narrative. कि देखें, हमारी जो खवातीन है इस इलाके में, इनके लिए कोई female doctors होती नहीं है, और इनकी गायनी की इमरजेंसीज होती हैं, गायनेकोलॉजिकल इमरजेंसीज होती हैं,
Mm,
और वो अक्सर मोटरसाइकिल पे जाती हैं फॉर लाइक अ गुड आवर टू गेट टू पिम्स।
mm,
उस वक्त में अल्लाह जाने क्या हो जाता है। तो these are the equivalent of LHVs, जो कहते हैं ना, health lady health workers, who are in
right.
this community and who are going to be there to support khawateen. So giving it this sort of narrative helped. There was pushback. There were people on the ground who were trying to frame this as a sort of Western culture lana ya
Mm,
fahash mein lana is kisam ka tha, but it was soon sort of curbed down because everyone could see what impact this was having. Like,
right.
women, like women who otherwise had no access to healthcare were now getting it, were able
Right.
to, तो बहुत फर्क पड़ा था उससे.
So how would
Even
you put
though
it into numbers if I ask you, like, how did you progress? If you look into how you
there was
began,
a
or abhi tak, how many cases you've been able to take on, and the kind of staff that has grown through the years, मतलब आपकी strength आप किस तरह उसको describe करेंगे?
Well, in 2 years, the ambulance has dealt with over 400 emergencies, and it's servicing a population of 45,000 people in Pind Bagwal. And our team has grown from 2 people to about, though the team strength varies, but to around 25 people when we have a complete project going along. So it's come a very long way. And now actually we're working, and today actually we've launched Pakistan's first, in fact, Asia's first, and the world's second mental health ambulance.
Yes, I was going to
So
come to that as well. That is a very interesting concept. I really want you to please elaborate on what exactly is this kind of service providing.
yes, so basically one thing I really appreciated from all my work with educational institutions is the amount of mental health emergencies that there are everywhere. Wherever you go, people are going to have panic attacks. People have schizophrenic disorders, people have bipolar disorders, and अक्सर क्या होता है कि some emergency occurs. So the thing is that no one knows who to call for these sort of emergencies.
Yeah.
And so a service for this is desperately kind of needed. And that's where this mental health ambulance comes in. It's an ambulance that also deals with physical emergencies, but additionally, the staff is trained on how to deal with patients who have psychological challenges.
Right.
And because the thing is, just like last year, I myself had to deal with an emergency where someone I knew had a big psychological breakdown in Islamabad, and we had no idea where to take him. Absolutely no idea where to take him. So like हमने बहुत सफा और मरवा किया था all over Islamabad, and we discovered that most hospitals do not provide service to psychiatric patients. They just don't do it.
Right. So what
Most
do
people
you
are
think that
completely.
reason is, Sama Saab, sorry to interrupt you. Okay, do you think is it still a taboo subject? Because, when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to cases where we are facing, bipolar disorders or,
Yeah,
depression or such and such,
yeah.
but I still feel people are still very limited when it comes to talking about it in a relaxed, open framework or frame of mind. Why do you think that is still existing in Pakistan, considering how progressive we have been through different other channels and sectors?
I think it's a problem internationally, not only in Pakistan, but I have also been very surprised by how quickly people open up about these things once they realize that this isn't an environment in which they're going to be judged or dismissed. Even
Mm,
within rural Islamabad, if you talk about mental health, people will very openly talk about it. They'll be immediately 5 minutes में वो आपको बता देंगे कि मेरे बाप को
mm,
schizophrenia है, फलाना रिश्तेदार को ये psychological मसले. People will open up as long as they see that you are someone who is coming from an empathetic point of view. You're
right.
not there to judge or to dismiss them. So even with, like, I have seen that there's been a lot of openness to talk about mental health as long as you're not about to dismiss them as pagal and they see that the person they're
Yeah.
talking to has some understanding of it. So I
Mm,
think we think that there is a lot of stigma regarding mental health, and there is, but there is also a lot more space to talk about it than we think there is at the same time.
right.
Does that answer your question?
That definitely does, and I was hoping you would actually host some sort of motivational talks and speak up on public platforms as well to get people to open about it. And as you said, the stigma associated to it, to have it completely removed for the well-being of
This is
our
something
society.
we're actually working on. So while we were, providing first aid training to schools, madrasa specifically, what happened was that we discovered that, maar pitai ka bahut mahal hota hai in schools mein.
Mm,
Not only within rural schools, everywhere maar pitai ka kafi zyada jo hai na riwaj hai. So what we did was we started providing mental health training to teachers and
okay.
working with schools in Pind Bagwal to create mental health wellness policies. We're talking about rural private schools, जिसमें हमने ये काम किया
Mm,
था. And we saw a dramatic change in terms of student attendance, in terms of students giving their homework, in student-teacher relationship में. And now what we're doing is, in this next year, with support, inshallah, from the United States Institute of Peace, we're going to be doing a digital mental health awareness campaign for high school students across Pakistan.
oh,
And
that's
in
great.
addition to that, we plan to work with the Islamabad, KPK, and Punjab governments to
Mm,
provide this mental health awareness training to teachers across 100 schools and to work with them to develop localized mental health wellness policies. And our hope is that this work will ultimately result in these governments, these provincial and federal governments, passing mental health wellness policies for school students. And that is so
right.
important nowadays, especially because COVID has caused a mental health crisis within our school
Mm.
students as well.
Right, definitely. And now that we've touched upon the pandemic, wanted to know how has it affected your initiative as well? Has it put some sort of, has it blocked some sort of services, or are your, different services and work pattern going smoothly as before? How has the pandemic affected Saving Nine?
It's it's affected every aspect of, I think, human interaction.
Mm,
क्या कहते हैं कि शुरू में तो क्या हुआ था ना कि when the pandemic new, it was very difficult for ambulance staff to have access to personal protective equipment. How do you
mm,
get access to those full body suits, etc. बहुत ज़्यादा उनकी कमी थी इस्लामाबाद में. But then with generous donations coming from other cities and then eventually from
mm-hmm,
Islamabad as well, we were able to stock up on that. One of our responders, fell down with COVID, so we had to shut off our ambulance system for a while.
mm,
And then so we had these kind of hiccups in the beginning. But then, now, alhamdulillah, things are going smooth and we've really figured this entire system out with the rest of the world. Uske alawa ye tha ki because schools shut down and corporations shut down,
mm,
it's like, how do you provide first aid training to people without it, there being an element of physical
yeah,
interaction?
yeah,
So wo kafi zyada hamara challenge tha. And I'm happy to say that, now because everyone has been forced to use Zoom, we've actually managed to make it really interactive and engaging through Zoom. But the fact of the matter is that, um, it is definitely a hindrance to not being able to
right.
have physical interactive
But
sessions. And that
I'm
has
amazed
affected
you're
us
still
because
making
we
the
are
best of the
training.
situation.
We're trying, alhamdulillah, and we're very grateful for the support and that our partners have provided us and that individuals continue to provide us, due to which we're able to do this work. And we're
Right.
really excited about, bringing a lot of mental health awareness in this next year.
Amazing. That's great. Samazab, I just wanted to touch upon one more thing, that we're talking about how the initiative, specifically when we talk about the Masiha ambulance, it is focusing on the outskirts of Islamabad, Pin Bagwal specifically. So are you planning to
Yeah.
expand to other regions as well, or how is it going to be going? I mean, what are your plans for
So
this year?
I want to elaborate that, the vision behind Masiha Ambulance is not just to be an ambulance. एक तो मैं बात करता हूँ कि traditional ambulances across Pakistan. Now, for example, if we're talking about the ED ambulance network, उसमें जो
Hmm.
उनकी staff होती है, I want to say the ED ambulance is doing phenomenal work. It has saved
Yeah.
countless lives. One thing that could be added to it is trained staff. Currently, an ambulance in Pakistan is usually a vehicle that just transports you to the hospital. It's not like the staff has training or complicated equipment. Our ambulances have that. They have rigorously trained staff who can provide CPR and other first aid skills while they take you to a hospital. This is something we are trying to popularize within Pakistan. Secondly, the thing is that this is not just an ambulance. We like to think of it as a community transformation unit. We have a partnership with the local basic health unit in Pin Bagwal. And when our ambulance staff wasn't dealing with emergencies, they're constantly providing first aid training to the schools. A lot of people come to build their professional skill sets over there. So they come to our basic health unit to undergo first aid training that they can get higher employment opportunities.
All
So,
right.
and then, this basic health unit has been transformed into a basic sort of small university. People also come there to now get other kinds of skill sets that we have imparted to our ambulance responders. So it's a transformation unit. It's not just an ambulance. And our plan is not to, duplicate the efforts that other NGOs are doing by setting up gigantic ambulance networks. What we want to do is innovate. And we want to then scale those innovations in partnership with export service. We want to
Right.
go there with the ambulance staff that we have trained and have experience. We want them to go there and build the capacity of services that are already there. So that, it's not duplication of effort. It's not everyone trying to do the same thing. Rather, we are working together, coming on. I was saying that the vision is not to spread Masiha ambulance across Pakistan. The vision is to spread the learnings from Masiha ambulance across Pakistan and build the capacity of other NGOs as well.
Right. And is there a specific pattern when it comes to getting trained for the program? Because I'm sure when our viewers see this amazing initiative, they would be interested in playing some sort of a role. They might want to volunteer as well. So is there a process, a screening process, or something in which they can, those who are interested, they would be able to get a hang of it and learn how to be a part of
Yes,
Saving Nine?
absolutely. Absolutely. They can reach out to us via our Facebook page, which is just called Saving Nine. And we all love having volunteers on board. We actually provide first aid training to people who work with us. And additionally, what we're launching is, we have discovered that a lot of people want to enter what we call the development sector.
Right.
They want to help the underprivileged, but they may not have experience. They may not have a skill set. What we do is we take people, we interview them, we understand what their professional development goals are. We show them how they can achieve those goals by working with the underprivileged. And then we
Right.
create projects for them to do while we mentor them.
All
And
right.
in that way, we are creating social impact while helping people achieve their professional development goals. And some of the people who have been in our team before have gotten such fantastic experience that they've gotten full scholarships to universities like the National University of Singapore. So, it's like, this is what I always argue, that the spirit of volunteering, usme Allah brings you a lot of barakat in many ways you don't even realize.
Right. Obviously, definitely. Samas, I'm completely blown away by the initiative, and I wish you all the best, the very best, because you know how social media these days is so grained on putting the focus on all the negative things happening around us. We are always ready to tear one another apart because we have a different way of thinking, our stance is different from one another, and then we have these kind of stories where we all come together. We all have this one vision, and then what you've told me is that, of course, there's so many other things that we're also learning from the process, especially when it comes to students who are volunteering. Obviously, this is playing a role in their personal growth as well. So in one way or another, it's like it's just bringing a lot of joy. And obviously, it's the
Hmm.
dedication and the passion of you and your team that is making it such a humongous and an absolutely amazing gem of a project for this country. So it was a complete pleasure, Mr. Sama, talking to you. And I wish you the very best from my end and as well as Pakistan Facts for your initiative. And I hope you reach greater heights and make a lot of difference, specifically for the rural areas and when it comes to women empowerment.
Jazakallah, thank you so much. Your words mean a lot to us. It is the encouragement and haussla afzai that people like you provide and your institutions provide that allows us to continue doing this kind of work. Thank you so very much, and
Inshallah. Thank you
all the
so
best.
much. Inshallah. We'll talk soon then. Thank you so much for being with us and take care. Allah Hafiz.